Yo, check this out. Today we're watching 6 most disturbing theme park accidents ever recorded. Look at the thumbnail. The roller coaster breaks as they're on it. We're about to see roller coaster accidents caught on camera. Try not to pee your pants. Let's go. All right, here we go. 2026. Dude, this just happened.
Theme parks are meant to feel safe and predictable.
This
Every
just
risk
happened.
is accounted
This
for,
was like a month ago, bro.
Each outcome is predicted before it even happens. That's what makes them feel safe.
Right.
But here, that sense of control failed all at once.
Oh my god.
It happened at Universal's Epic Universe in Orlando.
Dude, I want to go there.
One of the most
Well, not
anticipated
anymore, actually.
rides was Stardust Racers.
What is this?
A high-speed coaster designed to simulate two comets racing through space.
That's
It
dope.
launches riders past 60 miles per hour,
Oh my
twisting and
God.
crossing tracks mid-air,
60
all within a
miles
system
an
that's
hour.
meant to be precise down to the second. And that's where the day began for 32-year-old Kevin Rodriguez Zavala, who boarded the ride with his girlfriend. From the outside, everything looked routine. Restraints were checked.
Let's
seats
see.
locked. 32-year-old Kevin Rodriguez
Okay, who's this
Zavala
guy? What happened to him?
boarded the ride with his girlfriend. From
He's
the
with his
outside,
girlfriend?
everything looked routine. Restraints were checked, seats locked.
Just
and
like
the
normal.
ride dispatched like it had countless times before. But even before the drop, something felt off. Kevin relied on a wheelchair and didn't have full support of his legs. And according to his girlfriend, the restraint didn't feel as secure as it should have been.
No way,
Still,
dude. I
the
hope
ride
he makes
continued
it.
forward. It climbed the track, slowly and steadily reaching that moment right before the drop.
Right?
Which is where everything feels briefly in control. And then it wasn't. As the coaster dropped and accelerated, things began to get out of hand almost immediately.
What?
Without lower body support, Kevin couldn't brace himself, and within seconds, the forces of the ride took over. His girlfriend tried to hold on to him, but the speed and the forces of the ride overwhelmed any control she had. That's when the impact started.
What?
Each turn and every twist forced his body harder against the restraints and the structure of the ride itself, until it was clear that control was no longer his. At one point, his head struck a metal bar, and then it happened again, harder this time, and once more after that.
What?
The ride never stopped. While inside the seat, the situation had already gone past the point of anyone being able to help.
Wait, what?
His hand was too low. He doesn't have any support on his leg. They pushed it about 3 times, maybe 4.
Who pushed the ride worker?
Yeah. I saw him on the first drop. I saw him hit his head. I tried to hold him. I couldn't hold him. Another one, he hit his head.
So
He just went up and hit.
So the seat was loose the whole time?
It looked like it was tight, but it wasn't. Like I said, he doesn't have support on his legs. So
Oh my God.
he can't just hold support, so he can just stay in place.
Dude.
That's all
So
I
he
can
was
remember.
loose because,
He knocked
like-
my glasses halfway up the ride. All I know, he kept hitting his head. I tried to hold him so he doesn't hit his head anymore, but it was.
By the time the ride finally came to an end, the outcome had already been decided. Staff reached him to find he was unresponsive. His face turned blue, and CPR was started immediately beside the ride.
Bro. No way. So he was loose and he was like smacking his head off stuff. Oh, snap, dude.
For nearly 15 minutes, responders worked to bring him back, trying to undo what had already happened as witnesses looked on, describing severe head trauma, deep injuries, and heavy bleeding in the middle of a place meant for entertainment. He was rushed out on a stretcher, but he did not survive. And Kevin Rodriguez Zavala was later pronounced dead from blunt force trauma.
Bro.
In the aftermath, investigators examined every detail of the ride, the restraints, and the systems behind it.
So he hit his head on this little bar right in front of him. Oh my god, that's crazy, dude. Rest in peace to this guy. Alright, here's the next one. 2012. Wait. November 25th? That's DJ's birthday. What the hell?
13 years ago at Divo Ostrov Amusement Park in St. Petersburg, a rocket-style ride was designed to launch riders high into the sky.
That thing looks sick!
Dropping them back down. That is, until something went horribly wrong.
Oh, snap.
It's a system that depends entirely on timing, tension, and a set of cables working exactly as intended. Nothing can be out of place, and at first, everything was normal.
Okay.
Riders were strapped in, safety checks were completed, and the ride
Dude, that
lifted
thing
off
looks
smoothly.
sick.
carrying them more than 200 feet into the air as the park below started to shrink. From the ground, it just looked like another routine cycle.
Right.
Nothing unusual, nothing to worry about. Then, in a single moment, the ride failed. A sharp sound cut through the motion, something breaking, something snapping, and one of the main cables, a critical part of the entire structure, snapped mid-operation.
Yo, no way. Yo!
The ride jolted violently, throwing the system off balance, and then fell from a height of 200 meters. What was supposed to be a controlled ascent turned into
Everybody's
something
alright, YouTube.
completely different. But what's worse is that this wasn't an isolated case.
This is
The
not the
same
first
park
time?
had seen other serious accidents before.
Bro,
Another
I ain't
ride
never going to
malfunction
Russia,
left
bro.
a young girl badly injured, and additional failures that raised the same uncomfortable pattern. And
Oh
so
my
the
God.
question stays behind
They had
long
to get
after the ride
rescued
stops
out of there.
moving. At one point, does something built for thrills stop being controlled?
Dude, that one was
and start
crazy.
becoming-
Alright, here's the next one. July 23rd, 2010. The Wacky
This
Worm.
incident took place
Okay.
on Wednesday, July 23rd,
Sounds like a kid's
2010,
ride, bruh.
at the Sonoma Marin Fair in California. Less than 90 minutes after the fair opened that day.
Oh,
The
dude.
fairgrounds that
I
day
love
in
these rides.
Petaluma were already filling with crowds, and among the rides in operation was a small roller coaster known as the Wacky Worm.
This thing?
It wasn't a high-speed thrill
Bruh.
ride. In fact, it was designed for kids.
Oh,
A simple, slow-moving
what the
coaster
hell?
shaped like a green caterpillar, looping around a short figure-8 track. At that moment, several children were already on board,
Bruh.
sitting in the front and back cars as the ride made its usual rounds. But near the track, something else was happening. A carnival worker, a man in his early 20s, had just returned from a break. For reasons that were never fully explained, he approached the ride area and opened a small safety gate that separated staff from the active track.
What?
Then, without realizing what was coming, he stepped inside.
Yo.
Witnesses later said he had his back turned to the ride, holding a drink in his hand, completely unaware that the roller coaster was already moving toward him.
Dude, he got hit by this
Ride
little
carrying
tiny roller
children
coaster?
struck him directly.
It's on video? Bro. Why are you screaming on that little ass ride? I can barely see what happened. No way, he's under here? He was alright, by the way. Here's the next video, January 14, 2011.
On
Roller
January
coaster.
14, 2011, something horrifying happened at the Caroline Bay Carnival in Timaru.
Where the hell
During
is
what
that?
should have been a
Timaru?
completely normal afternoon. Among the riders that day were a man named Andrew Meeking and his young son, just 4 years old. Like most
Bro,
parents,
don't
he
tell
was
me,
simply
bruh.
sharing a ride with his child, trusting that everything had been secured and
Don't
made
tell
safe.
me, bruh.
The coaster began its run like it always did. It climbed, turned, and moved along the track without any visible issue.
Okay.
Then, suddenly, something changed. As the coaster moved through its course, the front car derailed. Without warning, it came off the track and was left hanging in midair, suspended several feet above the ground. At
Yo.
that moment, the ride stopped being a ride, just a stalled carriage hanging where it should
Bro,
be,
why am I yawning
with
so
the
much,
father
bro?
and his child trapped inside. For Andrew, the situation was immediate and real. Somehow he managed to climb out, holding his child in his arms.
Wow.
And it wasn't a clean or easy exit.
Dude. What the hell?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Bro, what? That thing just fell off the track.
When they finally reached the ground, the damage was already done. Andrew had suffered a back injury, and his son, while physically less harmed, was left shaken by what had just happened. Emergency
What?
services responded quickly,
he
securing
probably
the area
sued them.
and making sure no further risk remained. The ride was shut down immediately, and it didn't reopen. After that incident, early findings pointed toward a mechanical issue, specifically a wheel detaching from the carriage, which caused it to leave the track.
I hope that guy sued them, honestly, but let's see what the next one is. September 28th, 2009, collapse of
The next
Miami
moment
Fun
brings us
Fair
to
ride.
October 2024 at a
Dude,
traveling
these ones
fair
are
in
dope.
Ecuador, during what should have been
Ecuador.
a normal night of festivities. At first, everything appeared normal as the gondola filled with riders swung through its usual
Those
motion,
ones are crazy, bro.
going back and forth and climbing
Y'all ever been on
higher
one of
with each
these?
pass, just as it was designed to. But as the ride continued, the motion began to feel just slightly off, and soon the gondola was swinging in a way that clearly wasn't normal. Then, without warning, a loud horn cut through the noise, sharp, out of place, and immediately signaling that something was wrong.
What?
And moments later, as the gondola swung
Dude.
forward again, it collided.
Oh my God,
with
I
part
forgot
of
they
the
got it on
platform,
video.
hitting with a sudden heavy impact that no one expected.
No way. Alarm. Oh God. Look, Ben. Look, Ben. Dude. Oh my God. Holy Jesus, bro. Oh.
One of the mechanical arms holding
Oh
the gondolas
my
gave
God.
way. The scene
Okay,
of
here's the
reality became
aftermath.
Clear.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. Oh my God, the whole thing snapped off
gondolas
from
were
the top,
completely
bruh.
wrecked.
Everybody was fine. He's lying, by the way. I was there, I know. Alright, here's the next one. September 28th, 2009. Collapse of Miami Fun Fair ride?
At most fairgrounds, the beginning of a ride feels like the safest part for a few seconds.
I thought
while
that was
there's
the
always
same
that
one.
familiar mix of excitement and nervous laughter. That was exactly the case at a fun fair in
Dude,
Miami
these
on
ones are
September
crazy.
28th, 2009.
I never trusted these
People
ones.
were seated and ready for what seemed like a routine amusement ride experience. The kind where the
Okay.
atmosphere stays light and playful. As the
Right.
ride started up, everything still felt normal. The structure lifted, rotated, and moved exactly the way it was supposed to. For a brief moment, it was just another motion ride filled with excited screams and laughter.
Dude, they
But
go
that
so
sense of normalcy
fast.
didn't last long.
That's so crazy.
Almost without warning, something shifted in the way the ride was supporting itself.
What?
The motion felt different, wrong, and then, in an instant, the structure began to give way.
Dude. This is the real video. Where did it go? Huh? What? What? Oh my God, it like fell forward or something. Dude, they're like stuck. That one wasn't that bad. Everybody was completely fine. Yeah. June 17, 2023,
In
Kamikaze
certain
Ranger
amusement
freezes
park rides,
midair.
There's a certain moment where everything
What is a
flips
Kamikaze
literally
Ranger?
just for excitement. And that's
Whoa.
what makes this next incident
Oh,
so
dude, I've been on
unsettling.
one of these before.
Because when something goes wrong in that moment, it's much harder
These
to
ones
tell
are like the
difference between
scariest
what's
ones,
supposed
bro.
to happen and what isn't.
What the
At
hell?
Park Chudy's amusement park in the city of Kemerovo, Russia,
Aw,
riders
man.
boarded a pendulum-style
I ain't
attraction
never
known
going to
as
Russia.
Ranger. And on this day, everything started exactly as expected. The ride built momentum,
Okay.
swung back and forth, and then completed a full 360-degree rotation.
Yeah, dude, they
But
spin
then
like
something
all the
changed.
way
As
around
the
so
ride moved
fast.
into its next rotation, it suddenly stopped at the highest point, and it did not come back down.
What? No way. Normally they like slow down when they're at the top and then they come back down. Listen to that noise, bruh. No. No way. No
At
way.
first, there was confusion.
It's
On the
just
ground, some
stuck.
Observers weren't sure if it was part of the
Bro,
attraction.
people are gonna be like throwing
It felt
up.
wrong.
Oh god,
Riders had
dude.
frozen in place, leaving passengers hanging at the peak of its
Hanging
motion,
upside down is
completely inverted
crazy.
above the ground. For a few seconds, there was silence mixed with uncertainty.
Yeah.
And the panic started almost immediately. Riders began shouting for help, calling out to the operator,
Oh my god.
asking if something had broken. Reports later indicated that the
Can he just, like, push a
passengers
button?
remained stuck in this position for more than 2 minutes, though there was some disagreement over the exact duration. Eventually, the operator managed to manually bring the ride down.
Wow.
The descent.
All right, next one. Let's see. This one, honorable mention. Catastrophic pendulum.
Now, for the
ride?
final
Huh.
case, we're actually looking at 3 different incidents combined. and they all involve one specific type of ride,
Oh,
the
the
pendulum.
pendulum.
What connects them isn't just the design, but the moment things stop behaving the way they should.
I've never been on
First
one of these
clip comes from a
before.
park in China, where a group of tourists were already mid-ride as the pendulum swung higher with each pass, building toward that familiar
Oh
peak.
my god, that's
Everything was
huge.
moving exactly as expected, until it wasn't.
What? Did he get stuck at the middle? All the way at the top? He got stuck. Bro, look at them. Oh my god.
Instead of completing the cycle, the ride suddenly froze at its highest point,
Bro,
as if something had cut through its motion entirely.
that's awful.
Leaving the
Dude,
riders-
I'm never going to a theme park again.